My name is Lucas. I'm 29 years old, and for 3 years I believed I had found the perfect woman. Carolina was 27 when we met, on a summer night that seemed straight out of a movie script. It was a mutual friend's birthday in a penthouse overlooking the illuminated city. She was leaning against the balcony, the wind ruffling her brown hair, and when our eyes met, I felt something I had never experienced before, as if the entire universe had conspired for that moment. Our story was intense from the start. 3 months into our relationship, she had already left her things at my apartment. 6 months later, we were looking for a bigger place to call our own. A year and a half later, on a beach at sunset, I knelt in the sand and asked for her hand in marriage. The tears that streamed down her face at that moment seemed to crystallize all the happiness that two human beings could share. We got married in an intimate ceremony, just family and close friends. Carol wore a simple but stunning dress, and when she said yes, her voice trembled with genuine emotion. Or at least, that's what I thought. How can a man know that the woman by his side, the one he swears eternal love to, carries secrets capable of destroying everything? Our marriage seemed perfect to everyone. Carol worked as a marketing manager at a growing tech company, while I held a coordinating position at a multinational corporation. Our combined salaries allowed us a comfortable life, occasional trips, and plans for a future with children. She was ambitious, intelligent, funny, everything I'd ever wanted. Our friends called us the goal couple, the kind of relationship that inspires others. But perfection, I discovered, is merely a carefully constructed illusion, and all illusions eventually crumble. It was a typical Thursday in March. Autumn was beginning to paint the trees golden, and I was driving home, my mind wandering between work reports and the dinner I intended to order. I arrived around 6 p.m., my usual time, but upon opening the door, I was greeted by something unexpected. Carol was home, and that in itself was strange, since she rarely arrived before 7 p.m. But it wasn't just that. She was wearing that dress I loved, the navy blue one that accentuated her eyes, and she had prepared the whole house. Candles lit, soft music, and the unmistakable aroma of my favorite dish, mushroom risotto with medallions in Madeira sauce. "Surprise!" she said, coming to meet me with a radiant smile. Her eyes shone in a peculiar way, a mixture of excitement and something I couldn't quite put my finger on. Nervousness, perhaps? "What's going on?" I asked, hugging her. "It's not the anniversary of anything I can remember. It doesn't have to be my birthday for me to want to do something special for the love of my life," she replied, kissing me intensely. "I left work early. I wanted tonight to be perfect." And it was perfect. At least the first part. We ate, laughed, drank that wine we saved for special occasions. Carol was particularly affectionate, constantly touching my hand, looking into my eyes with a depth that made me feel like the luckiest man in the world. After dinner, we snuggled up on the sofa, and that's when she held my hands firmly. "Lucas, I need to tell you something," she said, and her tone changed completely. The lightness of the night gave way to something dense, heavy. "Is everything all right?" I asked, feeling my heart race. "Are you sick? Did something happen at work?" "No, it's nothing like that." She took a deep breath, and I saw tears begin to well up in her eyes. "Actually, it's something wonderful. I'm pregnant, honey. We're going to have a baby." The world stopped. For a moment, there was no sound, no movement, only those words echoing in my mind. Pregnant. A baby. Our baby. Emotion overwhelmed me with an overwhelming force. Tears streamed down my face as I hugged her, kissed her, twirled her around the room. "Oh my God, Carol! I can't even describe it. When did you find out?" "A few days ago," she said, also crying. "I wanted to be sure before telling you. I took 3 different tests." We called our parents together, sharing the news. The reactions were pure joy. It would be the first grandchild on both sides. My mother cried on the phone. Carol's father was speechless with emotion. Everything seemed magical, as if our perfect life was reaching a new level of happiness. But then Carol stood up, muttering something about going to the bathroom. When she returned, she was carrying a white envelope in her hands. Her fingers were visibly trembling. "Lucas, there's one more thing," she said, handing me the envelope. "I need you to read this, and I need you to promise me you'll let me explain everything before you react." A chill ran down my spine. "Carol, you're scaring me. What is this? Please, just read this, and remember that I love you more than anything in this life." I opened the envelope with trembling hands. Inside were 3 handwritten pages, in Carol's delicate handwriting. I began to read. "My beloved Lucas, these are the hardest words I have ever written in my entire life. I write them because I do not have the courage to look you in the eyes while I say what I need to say. I write them because I love you deeply, viscerally, and because you deserve the truth, however painful it may be. There's no easy way to say this, so I'll be direct. I betrayed you. I committed the most horrible, unforgivable, and devastating mistake a person can make to someone they love." The words began to blur in my vision. My brain refused to process what I was reading. I continued, each word feeling like a blade piercing my chest. She described the case in detail. It had started 3 months ago at a work conference in São Paulo. The man was an external consultant hired by her company, someone named Ricardo. "Just one mistake," she wrote. "One night where I drank too much, where I felt lost, where I committed a monumental stupidity." But it hadn't just been one night. She kept seeing this man. Secret meetings during lunch breaks. Once, even at a hotel just a few blocks from our apartment. The last time had been only 2 weeks ago. I broke up with him as soon as I found out I was pregnant. That's what the letter said. Because at that moment, holding the positive test in my hands, I understood the magnitude of what I had done. I understood that I was destroying the best thing that had ever happened to me. I understood that nothing was worth more than you, than us, than the family we are building. She would end by asking for forgiveness, promising to spend the rest of her life making up for it, swearing she would never look at another man again. She said she had told me because she couldn't live with the lie, because I deserved to know the truth, because our family needed to start with honesty. I finished reading and simply sat there, staring at the paper. Carol was kneeling in front of me, sobbing, holding my legs. "Lucas, please say something. Curse me, hit me, do anything, but don't just stay silent like this." "The baby!" My voice came out hoarse, almost unrecognizable. "Is the baby mine?" The silence that followed lasted an eternity. I don't know," she finally whispered. "Based on the date of conception, I believe so, but I'm not absolutely sure." Something broke inside me at that moment. I stood up abruptly, causing her to fall to the side. I walked to the bedroom like an automaton, grabbed a suitcase, and started throwing clothes inside. Carol followed me, grabbing my arm, pleading. "Don't do that, please, Lucas. We can solve this. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever it takes. The baby is yours, I'm sure of it. It was just panic talking." "Get out of my way," I said, my voice low, but filled with a coldness I didn't know existed within me. "Lucas, for God's sake! Get out of my way!" I yelled, and she recoiled in fright. I had never yelled at her before. I had never felt this hatred consuming every fiber of my being. I finished packing and walked toward the door. Carol threw herself to the ground, grabbing my leg, crawling as I walked. Each step was a monumental effort, carrying not only my weight, but the weight of an entire future crumbling. "You're destroying our family," she screamed between sobs. "Please, just give me one chance. Just one chance." I opened the door. A neighbor was walking down the hallway and looked at us, surprised by the scene. I didn't care. I released my leg from Carol's desperate embrace and left, closing the door behind me. Her screams echoed down the hallway as I walked to the elevator. I drove aimlessly for hours. The city streets passed by, blurred by tears I didn't even realize I was shedding. Eventually, I found myself in a hotel parking lot in the south, 40 minutes from home. 40 minutes that felt light years away from the life I knew. The room was impersonal, sterile. I sat on the bed and stared at the white wall, my phone vibrating incessantly in my pocket. Messages from Carol, dozens of them. I didn't read any. Instead, I called Raphael, my older brother. "Luke, what time is it, man? Everything all right?" "Rafa, I need you," my voice broke. "Carol cheated on me. She's pregnant and doesn't know if the child is mine." The silence on the other end was deafening. Then, "Send the address, I'm on my way." Raphael arrived half an hour later with a bottle of whiskey and no judgment. He listened to everything, every sordid detail, every word of the letter, every moment of that apocalyptic night. When I finished, he simply said, "You're not going back to her." "Rafa, no, Lucas. Listen to me. I know it hurts, I know it seems impossible now, but you're not coming back. She didn't cheat just once. It was months. And she only told you because she's pregnant and panicked. What do you think would have happened if she hadn't gotten pregnant?" I had no answer. That question would haunt me for months to come. "You need a lawyer," Raphael continued. "And you need to take a paternity test. Tomorrow." We spent the night talking, drinking, and eventually, I cried on his shoulder like I hadn't done since I was a child. Raphael stayed with me until he fell asleep, emotionally and physically exhausted. The following morning, Friday, I called in sick to work. Technically, it wasn't a lie. I was sick in my soul. Raphael had researched lawyers specializing in family law, and we managed to get 3 appointments for that same day. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Carol called every half hour. Desperate voicemails piled up. "Lucas, please, just answer me. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I need you. The baby needs you." I deleted them all without listening to the end. But it wasn't just Carol. In the afternoon, my mother called in tears. "Lucas, what's happening? Carol called saying you two had a fight, that you left the house. She's desperate, son." I had to tell her. Every word was like spitting venom. My mother was in shock. "This can't be true. Carol? That girl loves you." "Apparently not enough, Mom." "And the baby?" "It might not be mine." The silence was sepulchral. Then my mother began to cry. "My son, my boy, what have they done to you?" At the end of the day, I had consulted 3 lawyers. They all said the same thing. With only 6 months of marriage, an annulment was possible. But it would require proof of infidelity. Carol's handwritten letter would be crucial. As for the baby, a prenatal paternity test was possible, but Carol would need to agree. Raphael suggested I stay at his house, but I refused. I needed solitude to process the hurricane that had devastated my life. Besides, Raphael's wife was 8 months pregnant, and the last thing they needed was my toxic energy around. The weekend was a blur of pain. On Saturday, I met with Carol, but only because Raphael insisted it was necessary to establish clear boundaries. We met at a neutral public cafe. She was unrecognizable. Deep, dark circles under her eyes, a face swollen from crying, disheveled hair. A part of me, a part I hated, wanted to comfort her. But the other part, the rational part, the wounded part, remained strong. "Lucas," she began, barely able to speak, "I know I messed everything up. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to know that I love you. I've always loved you. And the baby is yours. I'm sure of it. I can take a test to prove it." "You're going to take the test," I replied, my voice emotionless. "But it doesn't change anything, Carol. You betrayed me for months. You looked me in the eyes, said you loved me, slept next to me, all while you were with another man. It was a mistake. It wasn't one mistake. It was dozens, Hundreds of conscious choices. Every time you left the house to meet him. Every time you lied about where you were. Every time you came back to our bed after being in his arms. Don't insult me by calling that a mistake. She was sobbing uncontrollably. People around us were staring. I didn't care. "What can I do?" she pleaded. "There has to be something I can do for you to forgive me." "It's over, Carol. Our marriage is over." "No, it can't end like this. What about our baby? If it's mine, I'll be a father. But I will never be her husband again. Never again." I left the cafe, leaving her devastated. My heart was broken, but my resolve was ironclad. Monday arrived, and with it, an unexpected twist. I was at work, unsuccessfully trying to concentrate on spreadsheets, when my phone rang. It was a number I didn't recognize. "Hello? Lucas? It's Ricardo. Carol's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend." My blood ran cold. "How did you get my number?" "From her agenda. Look, I know you don't want to talk to me, but I need to tell you something. Carol is lying to you." "Lying about what? Besides the obvious." "About everything. About when it started. About how it was. About everything." Something in his voice made me pause. "I'm listening." "Our affair didn't start 3 months ago. It started last year. Well before you two got married. She was dating both of us at the same time and chose to marry you because you have financial stability and I was unemployed at the time." I felt the world spin. "You're lying. I have proof. Messages, photos, hotel receipts. I can send you everything. And there's more. The baby. Lucas, based on the date she gave me the last time we were together, the baby is probably mine." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because she blocked me. Said she was pregnant with his child and never wanted to see me again. But I know the dates. And I know she's using you. Always used you. You were the safe plan, the stable guy who could give her the life she wanted. I was the passion, the mistake, the secret. But now that she's screwed up, she's trying to manipulate you into staying." "Send me the evidence," I said, my mechanical voice. He sent them. And each image, each message, was a new stab in the back. Messages from Carol to Ricardo saying she found me boring but reliable. Photos of them together in places I recognized, restaurants where Carol had said she was attending work events. Hotel receipts dated weeks before our wedding. One particular message devastated me. It was from 2 days before our wedding. Carol writing to Ricardo, "Tomorrow I'm marrying Lucas. It's going to be strange, but it's the right thing to do. You know I can't have a future with you, but that doesn't change how I feel. I love you. I will always love you." Ricardo was right about everything. Except for one thing, he was being used just as much as I was. Carol didn't love any of us. She loved herself, her safety, her comfort. We were just pawns in her game. I confronted her that same night, with Raphael as a witness. I showed her the evidence, every damn image. She tried to deny it, then tried to justify it, finally crumbling and admitting everything. "Is the baby his?" I asked, my last question. "I don't know," she whispered. "Honestly, I don't know. So find out, take the test, and then sign the divorce papers." 2 weeks later, Carol sent a message, short and direct. "I lost the baby. Miscarriage." I felt something break inside me. It didn't matter whose child it was a life. And even with all the pain, all the betrayal, a part of me had nurtured a secret hope that maybe, just maybe, the baby would be mine, and I could get something good out of this tragedy. Now there was nothing left, just wreckage. The annulment process took 4 months. Carol initially contested it, but her family, especially her mother, who was horrified to discover the full truth, convinced her not to fight. We signed the papers on a rainy July afternoon. We didn't look each other in the eye. Ricardo also suffered consequences. His company fired him when the affair became public. Apparently, he had been involved with more female employees besides Carol. I heard he moved to another state. As for Carol, she's still trying to contact me. Occasional messages, always late at night, always saying the same thing, that she made a mistake, that she loves me, that we could make it work if I gave her a chance. I've blocked all communication channels. Her cousin Pedro, with whom I'm friends, tells me she's in therapy. I hope she finds peace, truly. Because even after everything, I don't wish her suffering. Just distance. It's been a year since that fateful Thursday. A year since my perfect life was revealed to be a carefully orchestrated lie. A year since everything fell apart. I'm not going to lie. It was the hardest year of my life. Therapy, sleepless nights, moments where I doubted I could survive the pain. There were dark days, very dark days, where I questioned everything about myself, about my ability to judge, about whether I would ever be able to trust someone again. But it was also a year of growth. I learned about myself, my strengths, my weaknesses, my resilience. I learned that we can love someone deeply and still need to let them go. I learned that forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation, and that choosing yourself isn't selfishness. Today, I am rebuilding. Slowly, carefully, putting each piece back in its place. Some pieces are broken, it's true. Some will never fit perfectly again. But I am creating something new, something that is genuinely mine. I go out with friends. I've picked up abandoned hobbies again. I even started taking cooking classes. Ironically, that mushroom risotto Carol made that night became my specialty. It's a way of reclaiming the memory, of transforming pain into something positive. As for love, I don't know if I'm ready. Part of me is still afraid, still questions whether I'll be able to trust again. But another part, a part that grows stronger every day, is hopeful. Because if there's one thing I've learned this terrible year, it's that we are stronger than we think. We survived the unimaginable. And if we survived the worst, we can certainly build something better. This is my story, a story of betrayal, pain, and loss, but also of strength, resilience, and hope. I share it not to seek pity, but so that others going through similar situations know you are not alone. The pain doesn't last forever, and on the other side of the storm, there is the possibility of a new beginning. Sometimes the end of one story is just the prologue to another. And this new story? This one I will write with much more care.